Righto team, here we are. We are very, very excited, aren't we, Ross?
Yes, we are.
Good. I love doing this with Ross. Every time I do this with Ross, we get like 1 million views, and it goes like worldwide, to about 1,000 other countries, which is good.
Not quite sure about that.
A couple of other countries usually. And we're a bit late, as I said before. So Lincoln Gibbons, Nudgy Boy, Melanie Wilson, Gladstone Girl, Jamie Windust. I don't know where the hell he is at the moment. He's all over the joint like that. He's a mad mate from Fleur High School.
Yes.
So look at this, we've got a few people.
Did you go to lots of schools? You must have.
I did.
Yes.
I did. Only because the principal at Nudgy thought it would be better if I ended my education at another institution.
Oh, okay. So not by your choice, but
Not
music by the sounds of it, so I hope everyone can hear us properly.
And we're moving on.
Right. Than the last still shot.
Donna Ellis is another good businesswoman. I think
Donna.
Donna's got kids, so this is going to relate to her. So, Ross.
One of the biggest challenges that we have as working people is to try and fit in time with the most important people in our lives. So,
which are generally little human beings.
Yes, and yeah, there's a couple of other important people that I think we need to not forget about.
Oh
as
no,
well, so.
We're cutting in and out.
Are we? Maybe it's the sound.
Oh, and good afternoon, Sunita Butler, Harry Champ, Sydney.
Can you not hear us properly, Mel? Can you let us know?
Just give us a thumbs up, team, if you could. Sunita and Scott Farby, another Nudgy Boy. Vanessa Wood joined. Hello, Vanessa. How are you?
Hi, Harry.
Vanessa's another working mum, 6-year-old.
All the Nudgy boys must have good jobs to be able to be off this time of the day.
They are. They've got great jobs. They're all very, very fantastic individuals too, by the way.
That's good. I hope the sound's okay. Can everyone hear us all right?
Let's hope we're coming through okay. Yes, kids, and my husband comes into town once a
fortnight. The pic is pixelated.
Oh, it's pixelated.
Yeah.
I've got a thumbs up. That's okay. Well, let's hope we don't pixelate too much more. So, Roz, what's a life hack, for example? So, for a parent, when I was a working parent, and I probably have a few regrets about when I started business, because I had to travel the country for work when I was willing to do that and just find work anywhere. And I know that I missed a couple of key years when the kids were a bit younger. So for the working mums and dads out there, what can they do? What worked for you?
There was, I obviously started my real estate career in 2006, so it was a really busy time for me. And the first thing is obviously, we do what we think's right, but there was just a few things that I implemented into the household as the children were growing up, just to make sure that we did have that really important time connecting with the kids and having a chance to find out how their day was and what was going on in their lives.
So what did you implement to make sure that happened?
So one of the biggest things was dinner at the table every night. No phones, no TV, sitting together. It's literally a half an hour of your evening that you can spend talking about the kids' day. You'll find a lot of laughter and maybe a few tears.
Yeah, good.
I think it's really important. There's so many people who just sit in front of the TV because it's relaxing and the kids sit at the computer. But I just think, family time is so rare nowadays. The mornings are crazy. You're up getting everyone ready for school and mum and dad are running at 100 miles an hour and sometimes dad's already gone to work.
That's right.
So I just think it's a really great time sitting around the table, no TV, and obviously phones away.
But we had a real no phones at the table.
Yeah.
Still do.
Yeah,
Still
no
do.
phones at the table.
And our kids chip me and Jules now, because Jules and I sort of want to use our phones, and they say, no, that's not the rule.
It's really hard. I mean, we all have that life on Facebook and social media and checking emails, and especially if you're a business person, you're always trying to make sure you don't miss anything. But I think, definitely sitting down at the table at night with the kids and talking about their day and finding out what their struggles are. The other thing I did too was always before they went to bed individually went in and said goodnight and made sure I laid down and had a chat to them about their day individually, because you'd be surprised what they tell you one-on-one. And obviously we can't be there for them all the time, and they probably don't want us 24/7, but just giving them a little bit of time in the day and making sure that's put aside to make sure they have got your attention a little bit. I mean, we're always racing somewhere after work, usually dropping them at school.
That's right. I know I used to read to them.
PNF meetings and all that sort of stuff.
My job was reading to them at night time.
I read to my children, and they
that was great.
Loved that.
I fell asleep a few times. That bad?
No, as long as they can keep reading the book.
That's right. A bit young at the time. So I remember as a young business person doing that flying away, Donna Ellis. Music in the morning.
Lisa Kepford. Hi, Lisa.
We love all these people. Look at it, isn't it nice to see all these people?
I love music. Music's a big one for me, Donna. I always had music in my house. The children actually have the same taste that I had growing up, because I was always playing music. And that's great. That's a really good one. Donna's just said she asked her kids to tell her 5 things about their day, which is a really good idea. And it's funny because they often have things that are bothering them that if they see you running around and doing a million things, and they just don't think you're a priority. So the other thing that I made, probably one of the biggest mistakes I made, was thinking that if I joined a lot of different committees and fundraising committees and PNFs and spent time, I felt like I was doing those things for my children, but what it did was actually take me away from the children a lot, and all it did was add to my workload, and I was happy to take on those positions. But just saying yes to everything because you feel like if you're involved heavily in everything at the school, that you're doing it for your children, it's not necessarily always the case.
That's a great pickup. One question I've got for you as a working mum. Now, so Jules heard it back, and I've told this story on stage a few times actually now, and it seems to resonate with people. So when Jules heard it back, she was off her feet. Literally, I say 6 months, she says 3. So we remember it slightly different. It felt like
I was going to say, but you had to step up, so it felt like a long time.
She could do nothing. She was fed in bed by her fantastic.
That must have been awful for her.
Washing, which I thought the fairies did.
Yes.
Shopping, which I thought another set of fairies did. And folding mine and all that jazz.
So when she hurt herself, the fairies all left.
They did.
Yes.
At the same
surprisingly.
time. And since then, and Jules will tell you this, I shit you not, I've probably been a better husband because I appreciate her for all the work that she's done. Now, in saying that, when I was working away as a youngster, I used to feel guilty a lot about doing that, and still do, I must admit. I know there'd be people watching this, and Darnie Swimmer, here's a senior guy at Rio, and I know Karen, his wife, is a senior guy at Rio too, so a couple of working parents, and great parents. I guess for me, and I'd consider ourselves as, you made it right. Good on you, Jack. I'll see you next Wednesday.
We're live on Facebook.
That's right, we are. I'll see you next Wednesday, 10 a.m. And I think, there's people on here, I wonder, and I won't speak for anyone, Ian Zahn, there's another working mum who's a teacher. I felt guilty about not being home with the kids. Did that ever sort of cross your mind?
Guilt, I always felt. I think all parents do. It's just something that you do what you think is right, and you think you're doing the best, but you also can't dwell on the guilt. It's something, when you're doing the best that you can do, and talk to other parents who look like they've sort of got it together, because most people don't have it together. We're all struggling along the same path.
We're
trying to work out.
I don't tell anyone.
Yeah, but there's other things you can do. I have a really great staff member who who's been struggling a little bit just with finding that time to to spend with her children. So we've had discussions about giving her one early finish week. But I told her it was, on the proviso that she actually used that to be with her children.
Kids.
I said, if you're going home to make lunches or an early dinner, or, I said, I want you to make things better with your kids. And so don't be scared to talk to your employer about what you might be able to implement within your workplace if you are struggling.
Yes.
Everyone who has children knows that it is a struggle. My kids are great. They're past that
They're all
stage
grown
now.
up,
They've grown up now.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think you can take on so much extracurricular wise, thinking you're doing the best thing for your children. But there are things that you need to address. You get one shot at this once they're grown up. And my kids' age, we still spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, so do I.
But you never get those early years back, and the impact that you have when they are small. I think it really will
set them up.
It will help them to understand. Obviously when they start work, they'll hopefully remember the time you spent with them. They'll never remember what you bought them. I find my kids to tell me what they got for every birthday, but I'm sure they can remember that we ate dinner together at the table every night, and it was an opportunity for them to
connect with mum and
learn
dad.
to read and hear some really great stories. One of our favourites was Harry McCleary from Donaldson's Dairy, and we used to read certain books that the kids really loved.
And Blue's Clues.
Oh, Blue's Clues was great. Yes,
I think
we loved Blues Clues. A lot of the old stuff's gone. There's even a female Wiggle now, the girl Wiggle. Yes,
shit,
I know.
Chicky Wiggle.
My sister's a foster carer, so we watch the Wiggles regularly, and it's completely different to when my kids were little.
Well, we were around for the start of it when they didn't even, they were just about not even dressed the same.
They're going on tour, the original
Really?
Wiggles, but it's an 18+ tour. So
that'll be fun.
It's for all the people our generation and my kids' generation who grew up with the original Wiggles.
I didn't know that now.
Yes, I've just heard that.
So
yes, 18+ Wiggles for all the old Wiggles lovers. So
good on you,
what's Donna saying?
Lessen your workload by delegation and epic training of competent staff. Don't shoot yourself in the foot and make yourself irreplaceable.
Absolutely, it is, Donna, and I think delegation is a huge thing. Not just within the workplace, but delegating between husband and wife, even or partners. Don't be scared to share tasks. And obviously, you learned a big lesson when Jules was laid up.
I'm telling you. Can I just say, I'm gonna actually call husbands to task on this. Not that I'm any good. We can all improve. I've got to tell you something. My husbands out there, seriously. Step your game up, because I was as slack as shit back in the day.
Interestingly enough, though, and Jules took on those tasks without bringing to your attention how much she did, because that's just what happens.
And that's what I'm saying.
You weren't aware of how much she did until she wasn't there to do it anymore. So I think we all take on 1,000 things. Oh, look, he's close.
I see. Choppy clothes. He's on pretty regularly.
Yeah, I know. I watch Chris come on. Choppy's good pump. I think he's a bit of a pump junkie.
You know that Chris used to live at Tanner?
Yes, he did.
And Chris and I used to mow the yards at Side of the Sea together when he was a grounds caretaker there.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day.
Well, hopefully he'll get something out of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, not a working parent.
There's one other thing that I do, and I have probably been doing this now for three or 4 years. I suppose I got to an age where I, started having friends who'd lost parents.
Wow, really?
It was just middle age. They passed away.
Right.
Seeing the effect that had on them, I guess, and obviously going through some personal struggles myself, it made me really realise that every day with your parents is a blessing. And I had so many friends who sort of said to me, once they're gone, you will regret the time you didn't spend. So that I dedicated myself. For a long time, I have dedicated myself to speaking with my parents every day. I occasionally will have a couple of busy days, like the conference I've just been to, where I told Mum, look, I might be out of action for a couple of days, but it's nothing for me to ring my mum maybe 3 times a day sometimes. I share what's going on in my business. I share what's going on with my family. We have a great connection. I'm always talking to Dad. Mum puts it on speakerphone, and I think it's really important to know don't keep saying, I'll ring mum next week or I'll ring dad next week, because, you can't value that time enough. And I think it's very important when you get tied up in all of the things that we do as everyday things that won't matter in 10 years' time.
That's right.
But you'll remember, the conversations you had with your parents and the time you had with the kids. So
it's funny you should mention that, because that's a kick in the ass for me, because I know that's something I don't do well. Like, mum and dad come over for dinner and stuff. I haven't seen them forever. And the thing about it is that I only live around the corner, for Christ's sake. Literally, I'm 5 minutes from them, and I don't make that effort. I must admit, that's something I need to pick my game up on.
Sunita's just made a really good point there.
Absolutely. I saw that. Hello, and Will Schroeder too.
Will and I need to have a game of golf. We're way overdue. Yeah, last game of golf I had with Will, I played probably the best game I've ever played.
Can I tell you, get Will next time and have a deep and meaningful conversation with him. He became the coach, like him and I, and he just had this. It was the best conversation. He started asking me questions about the purpose of life. And
my God!
Why I do what I do, and I never actually have questioned that.
Wow.
Now, what I love about what Sunita said there is that she's talking about the memories, and in our place we call them magic moments.
That's very true. They are magic moments, and you can't get them back once they're gone. So
you can create them, though, you can. Help the kids do whatever it is, or put them in touch with someone that lightens up their life. Or, I was talking to a guy yesterday, Bill Robbo Toyota, and he's actually a soccer coach, and he took this little kid who wasn't a good goalkeeper in 10 weeks to being like a goal-saving guru.
Wow, there's some pretty magic moments.
So that's a magic moment, and the parents are crying watching this kid play at this rec camp around the
fire. You never know what effect.
And you don't. No. That's the thing. You don't know what impact you're having on your kids and even other people's kids,
You don't. And you just made a really good point before, when your children get to our kids' age, because Zaki's age. Well, nearly same age as Sarah. So
she's 19 this year.
She's 20 this year. Yeah, she's 20 this year. So, but when your children get older, it's really important, I think, to book those times in with them. After my discussions, with mum every day, I bought my daughter a Bluetooth, and now she rings me on the way to work and on the way home every day. So occasionally I'm held up in an appointment, but 9 times out of 10 she actually gets to talk to me, so I know how her day's going. And being nearly 20, it's important. My son probably doesn't want mum to be there every day, but I do speak with my son every couple of days. His friends pay him out sometimes, because sometimes he's with them when I call him. But I think it's just really important to have that relationship as they come into adulthood as well. Absolutely. And hopefully they'll then pass that on to their children.
No, that's right. Well, two funny stories very quickly. Toby and his mates, when they go out, there's this competition they have. The first person to ring mum, So he jumps up, mum, just ringing you because I'm playing a drinking game. She said, oh, thanks, Dave. All right, see you, mum. So,
I think mums are good for that. Yeah. Sons like their mums ringing them, or they're ringing their mums, even if it's for a drinking game.
That's right. And the other thing is, as we know, with Zaki's working for a great mate of mine, probably my best mate, Spear, in Monash. And, that Zach probably wouldn't have met Spears unless it was through me. And, some of the moments that we've had together, the three of us, and as Zaki was growing up. So the one thing that we do with our kids, learn what lights them up and do that often. That is well said.
Yeah, that's great. That's
music. Well, we've seen me and Zaki at concerts before.
That's so true. You don't want to be doing things that bore them to death just because they're the things you like to do.
That's true. Yeah. The one thing that we always had was we were going to take our kids out with us and treat them as adults ever since they were young. So they've always come out. So everyone that I associate with is knowing the kids and said grow up. And I guess in Spears, he grabbed me, only 12 months ago and said, I've got to work with this kid, man. I've got to do some...
And he's kicking goals too,
That's
Zaki.
right, so he's going real well.
He is. We've had a couple of catch-ups.
That's
so
right, and he was really appreciative.
Yeah, happy to share with him. He's a great kid.
Thank you.
Hannah's on.
And Hannah, we love Hannah. Isn't she beautiful? I think she was Toby's age too.
Yeah,
she was kid's age. Yeah. So Ros and I got kids the same age, and of course, one of them that's that age is on today. And Richard Johnson, hello mate, one of our elders in our community.
Hi Richard.
So Ros, going on to 19 minutes, girl. what's the top probably? So you've talked about scheduling that time. Dinner time with the kids is so important. You've also talked about connecting with your parents on a daily basis. So there's a couple of key things. We've probably heard from Donna, do something with your kids that lights them up, magic moments.
It doesn't cost money, which is a really great point, Don.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look for stuff that's free or low cost.
It's just the time. Time is priceless,
Absolutely.
and that's the best gift you can give them.
So probably in wrapping up, what's the top 2 or 3 things apart from what we've spoken about? Is there anything else you can think of? We talked about guilt as a parent. Working parents, what's tip number 1 or 2?
My tip for everything in life is that you will not give any value to anyone in your life unless you're happy first, and you are responsible for making yourself happy. So, and we just spoke about this after the conference I've just been to. So, you really need to look at what it is that you want to do in your life and what's good for you. And a big believer that you need to look at any toxic people in your life and making sure. If you're happy, you have a lot to give, and I think that your happiness will then obviously go out to everybody that's around you, including your parents and your children. And love what you do. You have a choice about that. You're not I always say it's my favourite saying when it comes to working. So I always like that saying. If you don't like where you are, move. You're not a tree. So I know work can be hard to find, but if you can't find the joy within what you're doing, and you're not passionate to get out of bed every day and go and do what you really would like to do with your life, I keep saying it over and over. You get one shot at this, and you have to. Everything you do, you need to be conscious of not wasting it. And I think that time with your children, time with your parents, make time for yourself and your friends. It's important that you have time. I'm very big on making sure that on the weekends I catch up. I love to dance. That's a huge thing. Love music and dancing. I love live music, and you'll often see me out jumping around the dance floor like no one is watching.
Like a band. Go you.
It's my cardio.
Is that what it is? We've got Jamie Kaz on.
Alison.
Jamie's on the Gold Coast, and Alison all the way from Gladstone. All the way from Gladstone.
They're a bit late, but they can watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what happens. Do they pick it up at the start, or do they pick it up where they come on?
I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people go back and watch it later, which is the main thing.
That's right.
At least if you don't see it live, you can catch it later. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, girl. Well, thank you for that. So you're saying you start with yourself, be happy, so that when you show up in the world, you actually show up in the right frame of mind for your kids.
You need to, I think it's all about knowing what you want out of your life, and you can walk around being miserable, and you can I've just been to a conference, and Bruce Sullivan was the speaker, and he talked about you choose to go to the top drawer and get your happy pants on, or the bottom drawer and get your cranky pants on. And I think that's a really great lesson for all of us. Every situation that you come across in your life will determine whether you're going to be happy or not, and it all starts within you. So,
and it's not the situation that determines that. It's the meaning that you give to it.
And one thing that he did say was, when something does happen, you ask yourself, will this affect me in, an hour? Will it affect me in a month? Or will it affect me in a year?
Well, I remember this
put it into perspective.
Perspective's a big thing.
Definitely, and just do whatever you can to make sure you're happy.
Yes. And I think the same. And I think for me, my advice, and this is going to be a bit left field, and I agree with the happiness one. I think bringing the kids on the journey. So we always told them what we were doing and why we were doing it. So from a young age, they understood that Dad's in business and Dad's got different clients, and Dad could be here, there, or everywhere, all over the countryside.
And get their input. I've always thought, if they're as they get older, especially, and that's where those discussions around the table at night can come in really handy. Talk to the kids and engage them. I mean, my kids have always seen me in a sales position, so I sold party plan jewelry and linen, and I've always been in sales, and they've always seen me talk to people, and sometimes took 3 hours to do the grocery shopping because I run into everybody.
All the time.
But they're both very confident, outgoing people that can have a conversation with anybody now, and I think it's really meant important. Yeah, it's meant that their personalities are a bit more outgoing than they probably would have been had I not been so chatty.
I think us probably too is the same, especially with Zach. Tove's a bit different. Tove is a bit offering and nerdy.
Yeah.
And that's good. Where the world needs nerds. We all work for a nerd eventually, or have at some stage.
Absolutely. They're usually the people that end up paying our paycheck.
That's right. That's right. All right, girl. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, Rob.
That's okay.
Well done. And
My pleasure too. Nice to see everyone.
absolutely. I'm sure we're going to get like heaps of views on this one as well. We're going for 24 minutes. So it's been a pleasure. So Roz and I are going to do this, if not every Friday, maybe every second. We're going to make it at least every second
Trying to
Friday.
make the commitment. Yeah.
Do we do it every week or every fortnight?
We'll see how we go next week. And
That's right. Yeah, we'll see what comes up. Stewie. Yeah, do you know the
Stuart,
Stewie?
I do know Stewie well.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. No, furniture.
Furniture, you bought furniture?
He's my best friend.
Oh, there you go, the best friend. And great stuff, guys. Donna Wallace, yes, involved.
Nice to do it.
Well, he must come on
Thanks,
now.
Donna. Thank you for your input too, because it's definitely nice to read some other opinions.
Right.
Everyone has great ideas, and like I said before, find other parents that look like they're getting it right, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Model others' behaviour, isn't
Definitely.
that true?
Yeah, definitely.
Find other people that are doing it well.
Yeah.
Shit, you like, and that's not just parenting, man, and that's not just work. That's life.
That's
Everything.
Everything.
Find golf. Go and find out a good golf.
Real estate.
Real estate. Yes.
Coaching.
Public speaking. Coaching. Oh yeah, no, I'm always trying to find people that are doing it better than I do.
Yeah,
and you've got to work out what they're doing. So
John Sorrotti.
John Sorrotti.
Hi, John.
Yeah, he is. He's another good coach.
He's
a
a great
life coach. He's
He
like
is.
what we're doing. He's living the dream. All right, team. Been a pleasure. And Rebecca Scarborough. It's sort of hard to jump off because everyone's just joining now, but we've sort of done most of that content.
We have, but everyone
Go back and watch the video
it
and
again.
hope you enjoy it.
And anyone who's got ideas on anything,
Oh,
that they'd like us to talk
absolutely.
about,
Oh, yeah, send through some ideas because me and Roz, and Jules doesn't like it when I say that. Try being married to school teacher. Roz and I.
Roz and I, get it right.
And I say to Jules, oh, you do it.
Grammatically correct.
That's right. I say, you going with Roz too, eh? But she's over that joke for
I was going to say, how many times would she have
heard
heard
that
that?
100 times. It never gets old.
No.
So if you've got any ideas for Roz and I, please bring them up, and we'll have a chat about them. And we're going to do a Friday thing, and it's always good. So love your company and love doing this work with you.
Nice to see you, everyone.
All right, team. Thanks for
Next
joining in. And someone gave us a laugh, then they might like that joke. See you, team.